Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Invest Fair 2025 here in Stuttgart, day 2. And we yesterday had a spectacular 12th German resource night with almost 500 visitors. That was fantastic. Everybody was singing a happy birthday for me. Thank you very much again. And now we want to talk to Ryan King from Calibre Mining, who gave a great presentation yesterday about the planned merger with Equinox Gold. Ryan, good morning. How are you?
I'm excellent. Thank you very much. It's always great to be here, and particularly great to see the enthusiasm and the number of investors that came out last night to hear about the what number was it?
480.
480 people coming out. No, that's great. I would imagine next year we'll even have more.
Could be. Yeah, we will see.
We will see. Yeah.
No, it was a great success. Also, thanks for your great presentation. Calibre Mining, we are long-term together already, which is great.
Yes.
Now you are doing the merger with Equinox. I will buy into Equinox on Monday. So I have done my decision after your presentation yesterday.
Yes,
I really
good.
like what I see. I think now it makes really sense.
Yeah.
And so Calibre, what's going on? How was the quarter?
Well, it was this is a very exciting time for Calibre and Equinox, right? If we look back to 2019, when we first started to do some work together, the journey that we've been on over the last 5 years has really transformed the company to become a mid-tier quality gold producer. And now we're transitioning to merge to become a million ounce a year gold producer. But what's exciting about this is that we're not only becoming a larger entity, but we're tiering up in terms of quality. And I think that's incredibly important to note that tier 1 jurisdictions, the cornerstone assets in New Equinox, Valentine gold mine in Newfoundland, as well as the Greenstone mine in Ontario, those two assets combined will do about 500 to 600,000 ounces of annual gold production. But what's important is that they're at the beginning of their lives. So, multi-decade mines, big open pit with lots of exploration upside, as Calibre has demonstrated.
And I think the costs are also looking great, right?
Very good, yeah. So if you look at the technical reports, these mines will produce gold for about $1,000, and I'm going to go to $1,200 an ounce. As we get in and see the realized and actual costs, I believe that not only will there be incredible margins at these gold prices, but I believe there's opportunity to continuously optimize the assets. They're at the beginning of their life, as I just mentioned, and so that's very important for investors because it's getting harder and harder to find high quality, large, open pit, quality mines
and
in
safe jurisdictions. That's exactly the case.
Yeah.
Super. So how is Valentine progressing? Is everything on the plan?
Yeah.
Hopefully inside the budget or maybe a little bit more?
Yeah, unfortunately, we did come out with a capital cost update, which increased capital about $80 million. Unfortunate, but we are fully funded. So we have $200 million US in cash, and obviously we're also generating some very robust cash flow from operations with Nicaragua and Nevada. It is unfortunate, but at the same time, I believe this is the final update on CapEx and final update on timeline. So now, first gold we will see at the end of Q3, but importantly, we will be transitioning into production. So we've got a great operating team already fully engaged at the mill, at the mine. We have not only some of those key folks there will have commissioning experience, so they know how to turn up a mine. Commissioning through first ore all the way up to nameplate. They've been there, done that. And part of the reason I believe we had a slight CapEx increase was because a number of items within that plant have been swapped out for higher quality products. So we want to ensure the reliability of that plant for the long term. And so it's a very exciting time. This is always a time of I believe, potential re-rating, right? As we've talked about bringing this mine on, what's exciting is that New Equinox shareholders will get the re-rating from the Greenstone mine as it gets to full nameplate capacity. And we will all benefit from the Valentine gold mine as that starts to see first gold and then ramp up to nameplate capacity. Now, we've been talking about these two cornerstone assets because, out of the portfolio, obviously great jurisdiction, beginning of their life, but generating significant cash flows at these metal prices. And next year we should see the first full annualized year of both of these mines together.
Super.
So a tremendous opportunity in time.
Two questions. The first one is we had already today visitors from the resource night here, and they were asking how does that work with the merger? Will then the Equinox Gold share the one which is the place to be, and Calibre just changes into
Correct.
Equinox? So there's not like new Equinox Gold with a new QCB number or ISIN number, so it sticks with the Equinox share, right?
That's correct. Yeah. So anyone that is a Calibre shareholder, the CXB or whatever symbol you're used to seeing for Calibre Mining will swap into Equinox Gold.
Okay.
So every share will get 0.35 of a share of Equinox. And eventually that'll transition over once it's fully closed. So right now, we would anticipate by the end of May or the first week or two of June, that's when it'll fully close and your shares will transition into Equinox Gold.
Mm-hmm. Okay, super. Great. So, and second question is now, where do you see for next year onwards? First of all, production, that's one thing. Where do you see growth potential?
Mm-hmm.
And can you already give a little bit of an estimate, roughly? I know it's forward-looking, but an estimate for the AISC of the combined company then.
Sure, absolutely. So if we look forward now to 2026, say, and I use that as a full year because that's when we would anticipate both of these new mines really getting ramped up to nameplate. And when we look at that, we could say that, I would anticipate we're going to be producing anywhere from 900,000 ounces to 1.2 million ounces on the fully combined businesses. We're in 5 countries. I believe there'll be about 8 mines in operation. And so this is a tremendous opportunity and exciting time. When we look at the valuation of the company, it's very low versus peers. But as I was saying last night, we have to build the trust of the market. We have to demonstrate the opportunity and the integration of these businesses coming together and deliver on expectations.
Yeah.
If we don't deliver on those expectations, we can't see the re-rating happening. But I believe with the teams combined, Darren Hall running the operations, the development, the exploration, the sustainability, I believe we will, like we have done with Calibre over the last 5 years, deliver on expectations and see that re-rating coming. But when you look at that number of ounces and coming, approximately 500 to 600 coming out of Canada, those are the lower cost ounces. And that represents 50 to plus 50% of the overall production profile. And so I believe looking forward, this year it's about a $1,450 to $1,550 AISC.
Gold 3,300, 400. It's a beautiful margin, I would say.
It's a beautiful margin, right? Beautiful margin. And what's also great is that we'll be paying very low taxes on the Canadian assets because we have so many tax losses carried forward.
Super.
Right?
That helps also a lot.
Right, and so that'll give us an opportunity to really delever the balance sheet quickly at these metal prices. And then I would imagine, and again, very forward-looking, but Ross Beatty, chairman of the board, founder of Equinox, has stated that he would like to see a return of capital to shareholders. So we delever the balance sheet and look at putting some sort of a dividend or maybe an NCIB, a share buyback in place. As long as these metal prices hold up here at these levels, and we continue to deliver on the business, I believe that'll happen very quickly.
Super, perfect. Maybe a tricky question. I don't know if you can answer it. Los Filos. That's a mine where I know, it's always been trouble and this and that. Yeah, I mean, Darren Hall is the perfect mine builder. Is maybe one of the merger plans also something like that you say, okay, hey, now let's get that fixed?
Yeah, so I know based on discussions and diligence that the Equinox folks have worked on this for quite some time. There's 3 communities. They're really working hard to get community engagement and a a new agreement with those communities. And so it hasn't happened. It has not happened yet. And therefore, they've made the choice to put the operation, the mine complex, on care and maintenance. And I think that's the right move. I mean, now, look, we're still going to be producing 900 to 1.2 million ounces without Los Filos. We've got a large portfolio, and there's a focus on delivering what is in production and going to be in production at full steam next year. And we'll continue to work on Los Filos. Do I think that we'll get there? I do believe we'll get there. I believe that the communities, I believe that the government, the local governments, and the federal governments want to see this progress.
Yeah,
and
but it makes sense for them, isn't it?
It really makes sense for everybody.
Jobs, taxes, etc.
So now, I come back to Los Filos is a great mine complex, large endowment, and it does require a shift, though.
Fantastic.
Not only this agreement in place, but also it has been a heap leach mine for many years.
Yeah.
We're getting more into sulfide material, so you have to put a mill in place. At some point in time, once agreements are reached in the future, we would look, I believe New Equinox would look at putting a mill in place, which is permitted. It is permitted for a CIL plant already. There would be some auxiliary permits that would be required, but that would be something of a growth opportunity in the future, because a feasibility study had been done a few years back, but it demonstrated about 250 to 300,000 ounces of annual gold production at, again, very low costs. So that's one opportunity. Now you asked the question before, which I didn't answer, additional growth opportunities. Well, in the portfolio, in the new Equinox portfolio, you also have Castle Mountain. Now, Castle Mountain is a 4.8 million ounce resource reserve in California. Now, it has been in operation. It also is on care and maintenance as the company goes through a phase 2 permitting. What's exciting about that is, well, President Trump has already put in an executive order to fast track permitting for critical metals in the United States. Gold falls into the critical metals category.
Yeah.
So I believe there's a real opportunity that may progress quickly and therefore present an opportunity for a permit in place in the next, call it 12 months or so.
Cool.
And then, transition that into development and go into production in the future. And that is about a 200 to 250,000 ounce a year annual gold producer.
Lovely.
As well.
Yeah. And can you build that out of cash flow?
Oh, I really truly believe
that
all of our opportunities can be self-funded, especially as long as these metal prices stay robust like this and potentially go higher. But even if they go down to $2,500 an ounce,
it will not.
We will be generating very strong operating cash flow.
Absolutely.
And so, I believe we will be able to do that. We'll look at the portfolio as well. We'll look at what opportunities make sense for us to maybe keep, maybe divest of. We will be analyzing that. But look, the company now will be generating strong operating cash flows and free cash flows at 1 million ounces a year of gold production. So I do think that investors are going to start paying a very close attention to New Equinox on the back of this merger.
Fantastic. Last question, most important for shareholders. How about in the future? Dividends, share buybacks?
Yeah, no, and as mentioned, one of the critical things out of this merger is properly ramping up these Canadian mines, delivering on those, such that we can start really generating strong cash flow, strong free cash flow to de-lever the balance sheet. So we'll be quickly de-levering that balance sheet. That'll be a very significant focus for the company. But again, at analyst consensus numbers for long-term gold prices, we could de-lever this balance sheet within the next 2 years or quicker.
Super.
And yes, Ross, founder and largest shareholder of the company, has already talked about returning capital to shareholders. I love the sound of that. As a significant shareholder myself, I think that's a tremendous opportunity. And I believe that we'll be looking at the right mix, but I would suspect that a dividend, some type of dividend, possibly a share buyback. I would imagine that you could probably do both.
Yeah.
With these kinds of metal prices and these kinds of production
profiles.
profiles.
4,000 or 5,000 then, which we will see soon.
I would imagine as well, yeah. So no,
Fantastic.
exciting, a very exciting
Super.
time for the new company.
Perfect.
So
like to
I'm
hear
really
that.
looking forward to it.
Yeah, me too. And this is why I step in again
Yeah.
now. I do that.
No, and look, I mean, I've been a shareholder of Calibre for a long, long time. I've added more shares. I'm going to look to add more shares to the, after the little bit of weakness that we've seen, always through a merger. There's a lot of ARB funds and hedge funds that are in and out trading the stock that will eventually get rid of shares because they were looking for a penny spread. So in the short term, that'll kind of clean out. We'll set a new base. But importantly, and many people that are following the company closely will know this. Since we announced this deal, February 23rd, almost every one of our peers has gone up 25 to 40% because the gold price has increased significantly since we announced this deal. When you do a deal, you're trading range bound. And so it's almost like an anchor during this period. Well, with closing coming up within the next month or so, I think in the short term, there could be a little, once the dust settles with all the ARB funds, there could be an opportunity for a short-term bump.
Yeah,
so we'll see how that goes.
And also for the long term. And I remember you said that yesterday, new market gold in Kirkland Lake from $5 to 70. It looks like this is a second chance now.
Well, I mean, yeah. So Newmarket Kirkland Lake had a fantastic balance sheet, had very high grade underground mines, and made some additional discoveries. So the stock did incredibly well. Again, this was a Doug Forrester, Blaine Johnson merger deal. And again, the gentlemen are staying on the board for New Equinox because they see tremendous opportunity in the future. But that was a very successful outcome for all shareholders. And what was important out of that is shareholders did not want that merger to happen.
Yeah.
And it is very similar to this situation.
Yeah, exactly.
Shareholders were kind of confused. They didn't see the synergies. Why are you doing this now? But I believe this mitigates a lot of risk. It diversifies all of the holdings, but it also, with these two Canadian assets, we'll become the second largest gold producer in Canada. That's an attractive feature for anyone looking at a gold equity, and especially at the valuations that you're getting them at.
Absolutely. Super. Ryan, thank you very much. We wish you all the best.
Thank you.
You convinced me. I will be, again, shareholder Monday. I'm buying. Today is Saturday.
I love your support.
That's
very
perfect.
exciting.
No, thank you very much.
Timing.
Great presentation and great outlook, and look forward to the future.
Look forward to the future as well. And I appreciate your support, Johan. You've been a great supporter of Calibre over the years. We look to continue to work with you with New Equinox.
Super.
It's a great opportunity for your audience to hear about the future milestones coming up within the new company, and we'll be sure to do that. So
Super.
Thank you.
Look forward to that. Thank you very much, Ryan. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that was Ryan King from Calibre Mining. You heard it, the merger with Equinox here proposed. Yeah, that should go through here within the next 2-3 months as everything is done. The Equinox share will be then also the new Equinox Gold. And I think the merger now makes really sense. I've done a lot of homework after my last statement, which caused a little bit of irritation. But to be honest, I am back in. I will buy on Monday because I wanted to meet Ryan first and talk to him, which we did now the last days, and he totally convinced me, and I really like what I see, and I think this is a fantastic opportunity to make a lot of money in the future with great jurisdictions, with great producing mines, and still a lot of upside in the future with the production and to make money. And the most important thing is they have their costs under control. That is really important because we see gold prices for this year 4,000 and next year already going in the direction of 5,000. And for 2027, 2028, we have already a price target of $6,250 for gold. Imagine what that means for this company. So make sure you get some shares. I will do so. Thanks for watching us. Bye-bye from Stuttgart von the Invest.